So this makes me angry. In this video, Darren is telling us what Janie told him, and I don't think he's lying about this part, because he knows Janie and Daniel are watching him live, and Daniel is even in the chat agreeing with what Darren is saying. And if you listen, you will notice Darren even took notes on what Janie told him, so he didn't get Janie's statement wrong. And this was before Janie's statement on the CBC interview. So why has Janie totally changed her statement? And Janie now says Darren got a few little things wrong about her statement, and there's no way he got the things wrong he said. Nobody gets it that wrong. They say totally opposite to what they was told. So the RCMP don't seem bothered about this. So this is a message to Darin Geddes. Darren, if you really care and want to put Lilly and Jack before anybody else, then please, Darren, please make a little video of the truth and send a video to some of the people covering the case. Because at this point, this could be the only way of finding out what really happened to Lilly and Jack. Because you didn't get Janie's statement so mixed up, you say a totally different statement to Janie's CBC interview. So there's two options in my opinion. Either you lied and changed Janie's full statement for some reason, or you said what Janie actually told you. And that's not something you just make up. Did Janie really say to you that Malaya shushed the children just before they went missing? Leave a comment, Darren, or please send me a video of your statement, or send it to Sonny or anybody, I don't care who, but this is very important. So if you want to do the right thing, then this is the way.
Let's see. Hey.
Hello.
Hey, Darren. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
Good, good. So just to check in with you from this morning.
Oh, pardon?
Just to check in with you, first of all, from this morning. How you doing? I know you have had a rough day.
Oh, I've paid a big price for trying to help my family and helping Daniel and his family. And I'm not crying, but if you want to know, I'll tell you what's going on. I'm very lucky. I have some very, very good, loyal friends who I've known all my life. And right now, don't feel bad for me because I'm sitting in one of my school friends' chalet in a really nice spot by a lake. And he's a millionaire, and he takes care of me like a baby when I get in trouble.
Aw, well, I'm so glad. Yeah. Because I just said I was thinking about you today, and I know you had a rough morning. I know we talked this morning, and it was like 4 a.m. my time, but I know you were having a rough day, so I'm so glad to hear that your day got better that way.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. No, I had messaged you a couple times, but I didn't hear back from you, and I wasn't sure if you got a different phone number or something. And I'm like, but anyways, so I just want to check with you on that first and foremost. Okay. So.
Okay, just hold on one sec. I see there's if I can take over for a minute. Excuse me, Charmaine. I know I'm bossy, and by the way, Charmaine, I apologize for upsetting you a couple times through this because I got too aggressive.
You absolutely did not upset me. It was the entire situation.
You asked me why you probably couldn't message me in that, and I lost my Facebook account and everything because. To tell you the truth, I'm sure it was because I criticized the RCMP too much, and I'm pretty sure they got in touch with Facebook and kicked me off there, so I lost my Facebook, and that's all right, because I used Messenger a lot. And the other thing was that there was a comment there asked me why I deleted my Facebook account. Well, I never deleted my Facebook account. They deleted it for me. So, and I don't have my ability. I have a computer now because it's my buddy's laptop here, like I said.
Nice.
Because all this stuff I told you got so brutal with death threats and all that the lady I lived with and rented a room off of, she kicked me out because she couldn't stand the death threats anymore, and she was scared of that going on. And so anyway, and then when I went back to the house in Foxbrook, where my ex lives and my sons live, I have a camper and that behind the barn, that down the field where I was going to live. But my oldest son has two kids exactly the same age as Jack and Lilly, and there was a lot of people coming around there making threats to my son, saying my son's kidnapped Jack and Lilly, and they were taking pictures. A lot of them were thinking they were going to get $150,000 because they were at my grandkids, and thinking they were Jack and Lily. Now, this you talk about far-fetched and absurd. By the way, I didn't appreciate I might as well be truthful.
I know.
You know, I didn't appreciate your guys' comments the other night because this is getting so crazy and got so crazy.
Yeah.
But Daniel's going to be here too. I'm sure he's probably listening. And I told him I wanted him here because I want people to know our relationship, that I don't kiss Daniel's arse and he doesn't control my mind. So anyway, there now, I'll shut up and I'll tell you what and by the way, Belinda Gray knows me. She realizes who I am. We had met over at Patty's here over the years. And she finally knows the ugly face to the name. And Belinda is great with me, and I'm great with Belinda, and I think she's a great woman. So there, now my speech is over. Now,
well, before you carry on, I want to add one thing to that, because I know, Darren, that. So I just want to say this first and foremost again. It's for me, you, Charmaine, other people in the chat room. We are so passionate, and we're feisty, and we're strong, and we care, and so. Absolutely. Like I said, we said like our stories this morning and stuff like that, because obviously I wasn't meaning to offend you, because I truly believe absolutely that you're doing everything you can to find Jack and Lily. And if it turns out to be that it's this whole, that they got moved and whatever, I think you want, everyone wants that just Jack and Lily are found alive. That would be the most precious gift ever, to know that. So I just wanted to say that. I know we're feisty, we're, each of us, but we're passionate. And you, I can tell, Darren, you wear your heart on your sleeve. You're not here to bullshit. You're just here to tell it like it is. And I get that. And I hope everybody else in chat gets that as well. I mean, he's telling you about personal information just a minute ago about what has happened to him. But I do want to say this. It is so wrong. It is so wrong on every level to literally message someone's Facebook account, throw threats at them, throw threats to the family. And unfortunately, Darren, there's those sickos out there that do that. And I'm so sorry that people actually have to put up with that type of bullshit, because that's just so wrong. But anyways, I thank you so much for talking right now. And I'll let you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, too. And listen, we have to have an agreement. If we do piss each other off, we got to just put on our big boy boots, get over it, apologize, and then go on to the next step. That's it for me. And by the way, Kent, thanks a million. Thanks a million just for being you.
No worries. I'm here.
He's a great guy, isn't he, too? Yeah.
He's a good fella. He's a sensible fella.
Yeah. Okay, so I got my big panties on. If it ever happens again, Charmaine has small panties. But anyways, go ahead.
Charmaine has small panties?
Well, smaller than mine. Mine are like a parachute.
Okay.
That's enough info.
What, Ken?
I said that's enough info.
I just like
to be there with the pervert online too, so Charmaine, don't be swinging your panties around. I'll get all worked up. All right.
Okay, go ahead, Darren.
I just like to say really quickly that I wasn't, and everybody should remember, I doubt and still doubt Darren's sources. It wasn't that I thought Darren was being disingenuous to anybody. I have a hard time trusting anybody, but especially if we don't have
I don't blame
receipts. So I just wanted to point that out. No apology necessary. You didn't piss me off. The entire situation pissed me off. Just, you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Yep.
Listen, we got this thing here. People that do care and are involved in this little bit. This got so out of hand that it carried us all away.
Yeah, I think so. It's because it's not a normal situation. It isn't. It's not.
Jesus.
But go ahead. Tell us all about this not normal situation. We're listening.
Right. Where do I start?
You know what? Go ahead.
I want to stick to the bones of this thing now, because I've said, once I got into this on about a week and a half into this, after the kids disappeared, because like I said, there was a period there when I never even realized it was Patty's family's kids. I heard in Stellarton, that's where we go to Tim Hortons, a bunch of us idiots, and I heard there was kids missing, and out of Lansdowne, and that somebody had abducted 2 kids is what we heard for the first while on the side of the road. So initially, I never knew it was Patty's kids and Malaya's kids. I heard that there was a guy named Daniel that was supposed to have killed his 2 kids, and that's all I heard. So it was just by fluke, and if Daniel's listening, he can tell you this is the truth. Oh, by the way, people, I never worked with Daniel. I never said I worked with Daniel. My youngest son worked with Daniel up at the mill.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
That's how the relationship come around.
Okay, thank you.
And I hadn't seen Daniel in a couple of years, but then right out of the blue, I'm hearing about this guy that killed his kids. His name was Daniel in Lansdowne. And then I heard something, I don't know where I heard it, but what I knew at that time was that there was a black SUV supposedly suspiciously involved. Daniel, he'll tell you this, was with another fellow, I won't mention that guy's name, and a lady that was driving. And apparently, like, they were worried about Daniel's friends and that were staying away from him because of they didn't want to get involved or get touched with that stuff. So, and like I said, if Daniel's online, I hope Janie's here too. So one day I was working in behind my barn in Foster Avenue where I work on my junk. I'm retired, but I go back to the old property and I got a barn back there and my tools and a bunch of old junks back there. So I just go there to play now, really, fix up old junk. I was back there one day, and this was, like I say, about a week and a half or so after the kids had been gone. And this black SUV pulled out in front. I never thought anything of it. And so I walked out front just to see who it was. So it was a lady driving who doesn't need to be named, and it was another guy with Daniel, and it was Daniel. Daniel got out of the rig, and this other guy I know. This other guy used to work with my youngest son too, by coincidence, at another location. So when they were down the road, the other guy and the girl brought Daniel in town because he hadn't eaten in a few days, and he looked pretty gaunt. So they brought him in town to buy him a slice of pizza and get him straightened up. Oh, by the way, I'm going to slip one more thing in there. Yes, people, I talked to the Mounties. I talked to the major crime unit about 2.5 weeks into this. I talked to the Westville police. I made statements to them because I had to get stuff documented at certain times when you couldn't get a hold of the major crime unit. I documented statements with the Westville police, the Sullivan police, major crime, and regular Mounties through this. So let's blow that away, that I wasn't talking to the cops, because I was talking to them all to documents, because there was certain times in this where things were getting rough. And I wanted certain people to know that I was putting this information up, because that Jordan from the major crime unit, he was threatening me with withholding evidence and giving false information and telling me to stay off the internet and all this. And I was fighting with them because this thing should have been cleared up in at least 3 days. Shouldn't have taken 2 days if it wasn't on the weekend. This should have been cleared up in 3 days. So anyway,
yeah.
When Daniel and this other guy dropped into the yard, I went out front and seen Daniel get out of the car, and we shook hands, and it had been a couple of years at least since I saw him. My son Jordan, his buddy, come out of the house and said, "Oh, Jesus, Daniel." Now, Jordan, my son, they already knew more about it than I did. Jordan grabbed him, and all of a sudden I caught on. Jordan grabbed Daniel and gave him a hug and said, "Listen, Daniel, I know you couldn't have done this." He said, "They're saying you killed your kids, and I know you never did it. I know you did, and it's not in you." All of a sudden I'm standing there, and that was like a slap in the face. I thought, holy shit, this is the Daniel. So then that's when I started piecing things together.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, listen, this has been I got into this totally for my cousin Patty. She's not in good health. Her heart's bad. This was killing her. It is killing her. And she called me and told me, she said, "Now you realize that's Malaya's kids, right? My great grandkids." And she said, "You know Daniel Martel, and you know the Mackenzie boys over there, the whole family." And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, it looks to us like Daniel killed the kids." And then she claimed, now I'm going to be truthful, Daniel,
Yeah, I know.
I'm not holding back. Daniel might be pissed off at me saying this, but he might as well know it. I want everybody to know
He
it.
says he's a truthologist, so he can't. If he's a truthologist, then he can't get upset at you for being a truthologist. So go ahead.
Well,
Wow.
Patty told me she had suspicions that Daniel was abusing the kids, that him and Jack were having problems because they sort of had a personality clash, Patty figured, and that Jack kept rebelling against Daniel, and Daniel was trying to discipline Jack a little bit to whatever. But that's not my business, you see. I mentioned that to you before.
Yeah.
Between a man and a woman, if they're together and they're both staying together, nobody should interfere. And it's like I told Patty. Patty said, Patty was sort of hinting for me to take a trip over to their place. And I told her, Patty, I won't do that because they're together, they're a couple. I can't go into their kitchen and start ordering people around. I said, but on the other hand, if Malaya is scared to death or getting hurt, and if Malaya calls me and said, look, I want out of here with the kids and Daniel won't let me out. Now you got to realize I know Daniel too. I'm not taking one side or the other.
Yep. Yeah. And
but I told her, I told her if Malaya did that herself and asked me to take her out of there, that I'd go over and take her and the kids out of there and take them to Patty's or wherever they wanted to go to figure they were safe. And that's not going against Daniel. That if there was problems between them, that would actually be doing Daniel a favor too. So I don't really believe Daniel was abused. I think a slap on the arse or something like that was happening once in a while, but I think Jack was getting marked up mainly because he was a digger. He was into rocks and bugs and branches, and I mean, a little fella gets dinged up when they do that stuff, especially out in the woods here and stuff like that. So that's how I got involved in this, you guys. And I'm going to tell you something. And for all the first section of this, everybody was screaming at me that I was helping Daniel, that I was clearing Daniel, that I was all for Daniel. I was, for the first 3 weeks, I was thinking Daniel might have did this. And I was looking for proof, and I was looking to go at Daniel. And I was hard on Daniel, too, for the first 3 weeks of this. There was no playing games between Daniel and I. And the more I found out, and believe this or not, believe it, because it is the truth. You can, and as far as receipts, the only goddamn receipts you girls get, now listen to this, is when you get sworn affidavits and sworn statements. This is YouTube, it's not a court of law. So when you get your receipts, you'll get them in a court of law. That's where you'll get your receipts.
Right.
And you'll find that what I'm saying is just as good as receipts. I did some stunts, but what I'm testifying to in this finally is the way it was. And I'm not going to sit here and admit that I'm lying. I lied to people about something in front of the Mounties because I'll tell you some of the stuff the Mounties did to me later. But anyway, so I start looking into this hard, and I was after Daniel. For the first 3 weeks, I was thinking, I was really getting closer to him and assessing his personality, assessing what kind of guy he really was. You know, I never listened to what my sons and that said, that he was a great guy, just took that for granted and all this shit, which was true, though. It was actually true. Daniel's a pretty damn good fella. He's not a bad young fella at all. He's got his problems, same as all of us, but he's no killer. So as I dug into this at about the 3.5 week mark, I started finding, no, there's this guy's no killer. And then I and I was having a real hard time, I'll tell you why. Daniel's family, Logan, the Mackenzies, on that side of his family, they were giving me all the information I needed from their side. They were just unloading it on me.
Right.
It was my goddamn family that was so tight. I had such a hard time finding out the other side of it because Malaya would not open her mouth. Malaya and Cindy are terrible in this. They're terrible.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So that's why I had such a hard time when people were screaming at me that I was favoring Daniel, or that Daniel had control of me. That wasn't the way it was at all. I had control of Daniel. And after, since this is pretty well over between me and Daniel, we're friends. And that's the way it is. And I've apologized for Daniel for some of the hard times I give him, because I reamed the shit out of him a few times. Mm-hmm. And so that's the way that went.
I mean, yeah.
So anyway, then after I was 90% sure that Daniel had nothing to do with the disappearance. Now, I'm not saying everything, but will you listen to this explicitly?
Yes.
Nothing to do with the disappearance of the kids. Okay? Now, Malaya wouldn't talk, wouldn't say anything to me. And she had already, let me see where she was. She was living at Cindy's under a Child Protective Services agreement, but that wasn't, the agreement was there was no CPS officer or caseworker there all the time. Cindy worked day shift and her husband worked night shift, so it was them that was supposed to be watching her 24 hours. So that's the way that was. So, long story short, Cindy ran for the reservation with Meadow. She was on the reservation with Meadow, and I was trying.
Did you mean Malaya? Did you mean?
Excuse me,
Malaya. You know.
Oh yes, sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you, Sonny.
That's okay.
No, thank you. Malaya was on the reservation with in Shubenacadie with Meadow, and the only way I could even contact Malaya, she wouldn't even contact me. And well, anyway, I won't conjecture. I'm going to try to stick right to the facts.
Mm-hmm.
The only way I could contact Malaya was through her brother, Hayden, who lived with Patty. Now, first, Hayden and I never struck it off really great. I had met him before when he was a young fellow on that and stuff like that. I'd go over to Patty's. Patty's husband, Bruce, got a real nice Gibson guitar, and since Bruce died, she'd get me over there just to tune it once in a while. And I can't play it, but I'd tune it up and part with it for her, and we'd have a visit. So I met the young fella, Hayden, over there over the years, not so much lately, but so when I went over there and Hayden was there, and I knew he was Malaya's brother, and he's 18 now, so I mean, he's not a kid. He's only a kid, but not a kid. So anyway, I knew at this time, after I got into it, I knew that Daniel had nothing to do with the disappearance of the kids. Let's say 90% at that point, okay?
Okay.
So I wasn't looking at him. So, Jesus, this is tough. So the only way I could get information that I figured out of Malaya was to talk to Hayden and convince Hayden that I wanted to help Malaya. And that was the truth. That I didn't want to get a hold of Malaya to get her in more trouble. I didn't want to get a hold of Malaya for any other purpose than to help her. Maybe we get those kids back in a way that she wouldn't be prosecuted too much for lying about the woods and lying about the abduction theory, which is really the only laws she really broke. That caused a lot of trouble when she did that. So she was at fault for some stuff, but really shipping the kids out of there legally, if she'd have just, they were her kids and his kids, but if she would have just shipped the kids out of there in a proper way, or even if Janie hadn't have been there, she'd have got the kids out of there, and there's nothing illegal about that. So she wouldn't have been in the trouble she's in now.
Yeah.
So
Darren,
that's what I was...
One second. Again, thank you everyone for coming to this live. If you haven't hit that like and share, please do it for Jack and Lily's sake, okay? Never for the channel. Always do it for the murdered and the missing. Okay, it's not my children that are missing and stuff like that. It's for the families that are going through this horrific experience. And I want to say most importantly, okay, you are welcome in here if you are kind, if you are respectful in your comments. Mods will take care of you if you are not kind and respectful in your comments. This is a place where it's adults. We don't play in the sandbox, okay? So act like adults. be respectful. And if you can't, then please, mods, remove it. We don't need your subscription and we don't need your view. If that's the way, go troll somebody else if you want to be ignorant. Right now, we're listening to Darren, and you guys should be more than grateful when information comes out from family members on that. So I just seen Kent say a comment here. So again, please be kind and caring, right? That's what this whole point is about, that you're supposed to be helpful in a sense and bring awareness, because it's about Jack and Lilly. It's not about Darren per se. It's not about Daniel. It's not about Malaya per se. This is totally about Jack and Lilly and where they are. If there's any repercussions to come, that will come. Sorry, Darren, but I just want to make sure, because there's a lot of people in chat.
Yep. No. Is that Karen you're talking about? Is that one that's on there? Is Karen Jones somewhere on the chat? Karen Jones. She's been cursing me every goddamn where. She's been calling me all the liars and everything else, and that I'm a moron. And
doesn't look like it.
So if
oh,
it's the same Karen
yes,
Jones.
Karen Jones. I see
good
her.
Luck to her. I think she needs a lobotomy or something. She's just a nasty, hateful
you know what?
person. Is what she is.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to boot her ass just for you. Okay, because first of all,
thanks very much, but you can leave her on if you want. I don't care, but she's just a nasty, negative, small-minded person.
Don't need the subscription from her. And honestly, if you're telling me that she's all just being so negative and ignorant towards you, she could go. Simple as that.
Well, that's the truth. Anyway, and there's been lots on there, but she doesn't even know me. She doesn't know anything about what's been going on.
Yeah, well, then she doesn't have the right.
In her mind, she knows everything, and I'm a no good, real bug. I'm just an ignorant old bastard. And anyway, that's all right. That's done with her.
Bottom line is again, and I'll repeat this, okay? This channel is very much a chill channel, but you have to be respectful to us, to the guests, and to the people in chat. You can have your say and you can have your opinion, and it does not have to agree, but you have to be respectful. That's all we ask for. This channel is not one of those ones that just boot happy and this happy. It's okay. It's about caring about other people, and you're adults, so act like it for the ones that are being disrespectful, okay? Other than that, go ahead, Darren. I'm sorry, but it's just that there is more people, and
you're right.
Yeah, it's just that we have.
At this point,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No.
You and me we'd be like both two bears with broken beaks. We just pecking at each other.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Malaya's on the reservation with she does take off from Cindy's, and she takes off to the reservation with Meadow. At this time, I'm over and visiting Hayden, and I'm convincing Hayden. Finally, I took him for a drive, and I convinced him that, listen, I'm trying to do something. I told him what I was going to do. If Malaya would have contacted me, I told him what I was going to do privately. Is why I took him for a drive, because what I was going to do to try to help her was pretty illegal. But I was going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. So I won't say what it was, but that's good enough for now. So he trusted me, and that's how I got in contact with Malaya when she was on the reservation, was through Hayden. Hayden asked her if she'd meet with me. Initially, she said yes, and I was so happy. The reason I needed to meet with Malaya at that time, specifically at that time, I had gone through everything else, and I knew what happened in the yard. I knew what happened in the driveway for sure. And by the way, I fully remember when I was telling you guys that I had 1,000% proof of what happened, because what we were talking about at that time was that the only people that would know this would be Daniel and Malaya. Yeah. And if you'll remember what I was saying at that time, I got another source here that's very reliable, dependable, and truthful, and that I've got it. But at that time, Janie told Janie, listen, out of all the Mackenzie people, and there's some tough boys in there, I would rather tangle with all of them at the same time rather than Janie. Because if Janie turns on you, and if you betray her, she'll blow a hole through you so fast that it's unreal. She is one good, tough woman. Now, Janie, I had to go out to see Daniel a few times because there's no phone reception out there, and you know me and my flip phone.
Yes.
So I had to go out. So I went out a couple of times to talk to Daniel. The last time I went out to talk to Daniel, here's what I had to ask him, because it was bugging me, and I just kept forgetting to ask him this little tidbit. And I asked him, listen, if you were out in the driveway with Malaya and the kids, and you knew that the kids never went in the woods, you knew that Malaya had shuffled them off, why were you telling all the press, why were you telling everybody that you were searching through the woods, right? And he said, I still love Malaya, and I was trying to cover for her lie. And I believed it. So whether it was right or wrong, I did believe that. So that's all right. There's the point I'm at there. So anyway, Malaya had agreed to talk to me. The reason I needed Malaya, she was the only one there, other than she was the only one that I knew who was there for sure when the kids got shuffled off. So she was the only one who could tell me who was either driving that car or who was all in that car. That's what I needed to know. First, and I told Hayden that's what I needed to know. And if she told me that, I'd go get the kids back, and we'd do a deal where I'd probably give some false testimony, and it probably would have turned into an abduction then, and then the abductors probably would have given me the kids back, and we could have got them back and maybe helped her some. But anyway, that's half-arsed excuse on that one. So Malaya agreed to talk to me, and then, from what I understand, Hayden called me back, and he said, well, she changed her mind. He said, and I know what happened, but there's no testimony really to what happened directly, so I'm not going to say, but I'm sure her family was strongly advising her around her to stay in the protection of the reservation, and her lawyer advised her, well, he was advising her not to speak to anybody ever, and I was included in that. So that's that deal. That's what fell through there when I was trying to, and I think I was talking to you right before that, and that's when I was telling you I'm so close to getting those kids. That was the point I was at when I was telling you that, and I was excited because all she had to do was tell me one name of the people that were in that car, and I already was sure I knew. I'm still sure I know, but I can't prove it, so I won't say it. So that fell apart on me. So that was towards, when was that? That was towards Thursday, I think, of last week.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I was disappointed. I thought, I'm screwed. I'm at a dead end. But then I got thinking, I couldn't sleep. I'm laying there not sleeping and looking at the ceiling, and this is all going through my head. So I thought, just wait now. One little thing flashed through my head. There was a girl right at when this just happened, landed. Now she landed, I think she landed with Cindy and her husband, or she landed right at the same time, and she was supposedly a friend of Malaya's. So maybe Malaya called some girls and they come in by themselves or whatever. I'm not sure who they came with, so I'm not going to say that because I don't know.
Okay.
But this one girl, she was a friend of Malaya's. Now, she's the one they call the psychic. She was stating right in front of the cops and in front of the other girls, and now I can say this is the truth because there's a lot of people heard this, and she was stating that the kids were getting tucked in nice warm beds in New Brunswick right at that point. And Janie, now see, I promised Janie up to this point that I would not say who Janie was.
Hi, Janie.
So even up to the other night, even up to not long ago.
Yeah.
And then Janie, I and I know I made myself look bad when I was telling you guys, no, there was somebody else. I got a good source there.
Yeah.
That backed up what Daniel was saying in the driveway.
Janie.
And right to the Janie even grabbed me and took me for the tour. She showed me exactly where they come out of the house, exactly why the boot print was there, exactly where they went to the driveway, exactly where Malaya was parking, sitting on her butt in the grass by the wood pile for a little while, like right down to the T. And there's nobody. If you ever heard truth in your life, you heard it there. And she made the same statement. Here's another thing. She did the same thing with the major crime unit. And this is what pisses me off. One of the things that pisses me off. She walked them right through that whole thing. Now, Daniel was telling her this story. Janie was telling them this story. And yet they still went on with this. They anyway, I don't let's not say what they did for now, because
Right.
I don't know exactly. But anyway, you know, they never questioned this girl. They should have had, why didn't they have, like, body cams on? Why weren't they, in something like that, do they have body cams here? This wasn't the major crime unit at this time, by the way. I'm sorry about that. This was regular Mounties that got called there, and a few more came after. Well, you know, wouldn't you think they'd have been recording this? They should, if not, they should be recording these incidents when they happen at the start, recording what everybody's saying and getting
Right,
good record of things.
absolutely. Because you said that, like you said that the RCMP's there, and you got 5 people talking about, and then you got someone saying that the children are going to bed in New Brunswick, and it's kind of like as if they.
And here's the kicker: Janie was standing right in the circle, and I'm allowed to say what Janie said now. Janie gave me permission
Janie.
the other day. She said, "Listen, Darren," she said, "I'm sick of this." She said, "They're all full of shit. They're all lying and frigging around." She said, "You're the one that's helping Daniel. You got him out of shit so far, and you're the one that's helping him. So whatever you want to do, if you want to tell people what I told you, let her fly," was her exact words. And I said, "Thank you." So now I have her permission to say what she said, but I. And it's all documented it is documented with the major crime unit sworn statements.
Yeah.
So and that's the receipts. You know, I can't give you these receipts because the ones that have them are the cops. So you can believe what I'm saying or not, but I mean, like, I drilled through this for 2 months, pretty near, and Daniel's probably, and I'm sure, I hope Daniel's listening, because I told Daniel to listen, and if I said anything wrong or I'm slipping, to break in.
I seen him say that. He said I seen him say 100% in chat. So Daniel Martel, welcome to the live. Obviously, again, this case with Jack and Lilly, which regardless, and please don't take this wrong, to Malaya, Daniel, when even you, Darren, or anybody else, even Belinda, this is about Jack and Lilly. This is 1 billion% about Jack and Lilly first.
And one of the big reasons I'm saying this now is because I want Belinda to know everything I know.
Absolutely.
She deserves to know what I know.
She deserves
and she can judge it. She can judge it, but she can deserve that. And Belinda, you know what I mean. You know, you know me a little bit. You know what I'm saying. So anyway, at this point now, okay, I understand. I'm thinking, okay, Malaya's been living with Cindy. I mean, they're mother and daughter, right? Yes. Surely the Jesus Malaya is telling Cindy something, right?
Right, Cindy.
So I called Cindy, and I said, okay, Cindy, listen. There's what do you know, Darren? And I said, well, I know a little. I said, I know a little, and I said, let me see now. I remember accurately. I said, Cindy, listen. There's one little important piece of information I need to know off you. I said, do you recognize this name? I gave her the name. She said, yes. And I said, okay. Now, there was a girl that came around there right when you guys were having your arguments, and it was like a circle of people, and the cops were there making sure nothing was getting violent or anything. And this, I said, I want to know the girl's name who said that the kids were being tucked in bed in New Brunswick in nice warm beds. I want to know her name. And by the way, Janie looked at her when she said this and said, well, what the hell do you know about it? You know what the girl said? Oh, well, I'll be visiting them in a couple of days. And Janie said, get the Jesus out of here, just get going, and chased her out. Yeah. Well, at that point, Janie chased everybody out then. That's when Janie bailed everybody out of there.
So once, Darren, just because I know you said this, but if you could just confirm. So Joseph Morris, he's a big YouTube creator here in Canada. Mm-hmm. He says, so Darren's source that saw everything was Janie. And you said that, so that's correct, right? Because you said that was...
that's correct. Okay. Here's what Janie saw. Janie never saw this initially, but Janie is the absolute proof where she was confirming what Daniel was saying. Janie is the proof. First, Janie heard the kids.
Okay, can you expand on that for everyone? Because that's what I wanted to.
I think she's got a boyfriend. I don't want to say she does if I'm not sure. But Janie wasn't supposed to be. She was supposed to be away on a little trip or away with her boyfriend or somewhere for the night. As far as Daniel and Malaya knew, Janie wasn't in the camper. So, and that's another reason I think that's why Malaya picked that time to get out of there. Daniel was sleeping. She got up early for the baby. They were up, and then Daniel went and laid back down again. I don't know whether Malaya laid back down again or not and went to sleep, but apparently Malaya was taking care of the baby. Daniel laid back down, went to sleep. Now, and there's little things in here that I can't swear to the truth because, like, I wasn't there, and this is only from Daniel. So, and Janie wasn't in their trailer, seeing if Daniel was asleep or not. So, and I don't consider this important because, from what I know from there on, Janie was in her trailer, and she got her dog with her. Now, Lilly, I don't know whether you saw the birthday party in that video, but when Lilly gets excited, she starts that little screaming.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, I think it's kind of cute myself, the little bugger. But anyway, so what Janie heard, she heard Lilly doing a little screaming thing, and she heard Jack doing something, saying something or something, and then she heard shh, shh, shh. And then her dog started barking. She woke up. She got up, woke up. So anyway, now this is where Daniel and my rendition of this little, and see, I think it's just a memory thing. It's not my rendition of and Daniel's. Our opinions differ a little bit here, just exactly.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm going to say my rendition of what I understand, what Janie told me. Janie, her dog started barking, and she knew the kids were out in the yard, and she knew Malaya was taking them. She knew Malaya took them out the back. She could hear them walking, took them out the back door, outside the fence, onto the driveway. And where the boot pit came from, that driveway's harder than nails. But the night before, Janie, there was a pothole and a little ditch on the far side of the driveway, and Janie herself was out with the shovel the night before, filling that little ditch and pothole in, and it was raining the night before, and the gravel, and it's muddy gravel, it's not really good clean stone in that, and it was wet, and that's why the little one boot print got sunk in the mud right at the edge where she was fixing the driveway a little bit. And then she showed me it, told me all about it, pointed it out, showed me it. And so she said that's when she came out, she said she knew, I mean, she heard the kids, she knew the kids were supposed to be there. And she came up to Malaya, and Malaya was standing there with Meadow on her arm, looking at the phone. And Janie looked at Malaya and said, well, where's the kids? Because she knew the kids were there. She just heard the kids. Where's the kids? And Malaya sort of looked stunned. And then just wait. And the next comment she meant was, let me see if I get this accurate. Okay, how long have they been? Well, where's the kids? Oh, she said they're in the woods. Malaya said to Janie, they're in the woods. Now, Janie swears to this. It's all documented.
Right.
They're in the woods. Well, how long were they gone? 20 minutes, she said. So there's where then Daniel came running out. Now there's a little mix up here in Daniel's memory and mine. I don't know whether he was sleepy or I got the idea, but I checked with Janie two times on this so I could get it right in my head. So anyway, long story short, and maybe a little error in there somewhere, was that was my main finishing proof that Daniel never killed the kids. They were there alive, around 8:30. But no, it was later than that. They were there about Janie, and Janie's got this timeline all documented on her phone. She was that smart. Ron, her son brother, had called her at 6:10, and she got that call on her phone. She called him back like about 6:20 or so. She was halfway awake, and when she come out of the trailer, she checked her phone, and she got the time of that. So as far as timeline goes, Janie has it right down to every minute.
Can we talk about that for a second, Darren? Because I want to say to people in chat, okay, people keep saying, well, the stories keep changing, etc. It's more like you're getting more information instead of it's kind of like as we've been going along, you guys, it's more like taking.
What's this?
Oh, I'm just kind of speaking to the audience for a second because I see a lot of people saying, oh, the story keeps changing. Okay. You're talking about between Malaya and Daniel, that's one thing, right? Because obviously it's that home, that's where the children disappeared from. But I want to say to the audience that we started off with a little mountain of information, right? The whole point was we all just kind of wanted to understand what happened that day. So instead of, some people are saying that the stories keep changing, but it really, to be honest with you, it's more that you're getting more information to make it make sense. Okay, so that's the difference. So that's what I'm saying. You know, if it wasn't,
I don't know what you mean by that, but
no, yeah, I'm talking to, that's for the audience, because the audience, some of the people are saying like, oh, the stories keep changing, but
that's what stirs. That's what stirs. These goddamn idiots that know nothing.
Okay.
These people that
Chill.
know nothing.
Yeah.
They start guessing, and
Yeah.
the next thing I do, or anybody does, is start responding to their guesses.
Yeah.
And then you get so far off track that you can't make sense out of anything.
True.
So why don't they just take for granted, listen to the story of the people who were there, then they can decide whether it's truthful or not.
Absolutely.
And then make their decision. But when they start picking and jabbing through the story, through the line, well, that just like it did. It stopped us in our flow of putting this information through.
Okay, no, yes, no, sorry. So now what I was asking you, and this is so true, guys, okay? You know what? And this is what we said. So when me and Charmaine, had released the information between hers and Daniel's conversation, it was one of those things. It was all about giving people more of an insight, right? The more insight you had into the day, the more of an informative decision you could make. Everyone just basically wanted to know. If it wasn't for the family at all, you guys would get sweet F all. Just let me say that. If it wasn't for Belinda or Daniel or Darren or Logan or people that are coming out of the woodwork, you don't really see it from the Brookside. Don't get me wrong there, people. Okay, I mean, it would be nice, but bottom line is that we would not have a lot of this information to tie it, and it would just be nothing but a bunch of drama. I mean, it is.
Exactly. We're not machines. We're people too.
Yeah. So be clear on that.
But we're trying to stick. At least I know. I'm trying to stick to the truth. And matter of fact, I think I'm sticking to. Well, who's sticking to the absolute truth? That's pinned right down is Janie McKenzie. She doesn't miss a thing. She's sharp as hell. So that these people. All right, I'm going to stay away from them.
I was going to say. Let's go back to Janie, because that's where we were at. So what I was going to ask you, if you don't mind, Darren, and this is where things get confused. It's kind of like Daniel's putting out little tidbits here and there, but when things are done from text versus tone, it construes a whole different ball of wax. Now, in saying that, exactly.
Now remember this though: when Daniel come charging out of the trailer, he just had fell back to sleep, and he said he's sleeping lightly. Well, Janie said his eyes were froggy. He looked like he was in just knocked right out of a deep sleep. So I took that for granted, that I know Daniel was telling me the truth. And like him and Janie, they bicker with each other over little details. And they were bickering with each other over just exactly when this happened and that happened. I was sort of laughing at that. So matter of fact, I was refereeing that quite a few times.
Right.
So
Daniel, if you're watching,
there was the proof of life right there.
Respect your mother.
1,000%. With Janie McKenzie, and if you talk to her, you'd be 2,000%.
Yeah.
And it's sworn. It's in sworn statements to the Mounties. So that was my main base. And when I started off, people were asking me if I thought the kids were alive, and that's why I started saying. I said yes. Did I believe they're alive? And I said yes, and I'll still say it. Yes, I believe they're alive. I know they were alive that morning in Lansdowne, and unless Daniel killed them right in front of his mother and his woman and Meadow, he never killed them, and I believe they're still alive, because Malaya would not give the kids to somebody who would harm them. I don't think that she intended to get in there with them, but I believe there was something getting car seats and that wrestled in and stuff like that just delayed them. And when Janie came out of the trailer, the dog barked, and she heard Janie's dog bark, and Janie had a little wrestle with the dog to get it tied to the bed or something, and she had a little wrestle getting her boots on, and that's when Malaya said, "Oh, Jesus." And I think Malaya just said, "Oh, Janie's home," and told them to take off. Get out of there quick.
Well,
that's why.
Yeah, so give me 1 second, because I would love to backtrack just a little bit. But I do want to say, Daniel, I don't care how old you are. You respect your mother. You came out of her shoes. Yeah. You came out of that chute down there. You always respect your mother because you only got one mother.
Here's my exact last words to Daniel, and he can Janie will verify this too. I said, Daniel, instead of arguing with your mother, you know what you should be doing right now? I said, you better bend over, get on your knees, and kiss her ass, because with her testimony, she just might have saved you from murder charges.
Well,
I told him, I think you better just shut up, listen a little more.
Yeah.
And the exact words I said, you know, Daniel, she's your mother, and even when she's wrong, she deserves to be right sometimes, and that's it.
Exactly. So now can you do me a favor as best as you can? And if you can't, maybe Daniel or Janie would be willing to offer. So I just want to backtrack. So is it true that on Thursday that there was an argument that ensued, that kind of when they were shopping? Is that true?
I'm not 100% sure of that.
Okay.
Because I said that when Charmaine and I were talking, I'm pretty sure. If I misstated that, but I'll clarify that.
Sure.
We were talking about 1 second, and this is where the United States things kicks into gear. When we were talking, same exact conversation, but we had a conversation, and I said, listen, if I'm going to state a section here that's facts. And I said, if you want to know if you want to know what I think after that, well, we'll talk about that. But I said, here's what I know. And it sort of spun into the other conversation, because what I was alluding to, I think when Charmaine asked me something about did I have a speculation of where the kids were, and what I said was, well, it's been 7 weeks. The Mounties been, well, at least the way I was thinking, it's been so goddamn long. The Mounties been goofing around on this that they could be anywhere from Tatumgush to goddamn Plattsburgh, New York. And that's when Charlene said, oh no, Darren, they couldn't get across the border. So see, that sort of jumped right from where I was saying what I thought was factual to the place where we started deliberating and farting around about the border. So I never said, and there was a bunch of stuff online on the other site there that I said the kids were in the United States, but that's what I said. I said they could be anywhere from, at this time, they had enough time to go anywhere around the world. So,
okay, so hypothetically, allegedly, so the way that we heard it allegedly.
Just 1 sec, Sonny. I just want to make sure Denise Harris can mods get her out of here, please.
Who's going on here?
Denise Harris, get her out.
Denise, where is she? Right here? Okay, you're gone, Denise. Bye-bye. Don't got time for that bullshit. Oh, no.
What's she saying?
Oh, no, I don't even know, honestly.
I don't know who that is anyway.
No, it's just, like I said, there's 890 people in here. With that's going to come some ignorant people. But mods, please. I don't know how many mods are in here, but Kent, you have a wrench. Let's see who's ever in here with mods. If not, just bring it to my attention. I'll boot their asses out of here. Ain't got time for that bullshit. Yeah, either you come in here to be respectful and listen, or go watch another channel, some other thing. Okay, guys? Because it's distracting. I don't want to be distracted. I like hearing what family members have to say.
That's part of what I said. Now we are already distracted.
I know.
But anyway, I'm just about done, because what I cared for, my main thing when I got into this through my family was that if Daniel hurt those kids, he was going to be in some deep. I had to make sure of it, prove it. If Daniel hurt those kids, he's been in deep shit. So my big thing was, when Janie and Daniel's testimony and the signs out there and what she showed me and what they showed me about everything out there, and Janie being so 1,000% truthful and believable, and I'm going to tell you, Malaya, I don't think you'll find anywhere. Malaya said she thought Daniel might be hurting the kids, but nowhere will you find Malaya say that Daniel was capable or did kill the kids. And I'll guarantee you this, nowhere, if she's telling the truth about the abduction, nowhere will you see her call Janie a liar. Nowhere.
Right. Yeah. Well, I want to go back still to something, because I would love to clear this up, because we have talked about it. So you had said before, okay, so that Janie saw Malaya because remember in the audio from the scanner, from the police scanner, they talk about the 8 o'clock. And so can you confirm that 8 o'clock, like what you said earlier, was about the time that Janie kind of seen Malaya, but didn't?
No, that would have been a mistake. It was later than 8 o'clock. I would say it was later than 8 o'clock.
Okay, so
I would say it was. Now I even said to Janie, I remember confirming to her. So I said, so Janie, it was around 8:45. You figure? You're sure? And she said something like, no, it was 5 or 10 after 9.
Okay, only
that they were in the driveway.
Because
now,
go ahead.
Now see, here's what this is what I don't like. This is what I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like getting off on these little tangents that mean nothing. What would it matter if it was 8 o'clock or 8:15 or 8:30 or 8:45 or 10 after 9? The only thing that would matter if they were stating stuff that came after the Mounties got there or somebody else got involved. But I don't like this because I don't like that. Nobody's 100% accurate. And what Janie would say about that, she has it on her phone. So what she would say about that would be the exact time.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was going to say.
So I don't like these little getting off on these little tangents because I want it as clear. It's taken me long enough to get it out there.
I know.
And I want it as clear and cut as I can get it. So the more of these little questions out of curiosity or whatever, or little thoughts of their own, I won't answer them anymore. So,
yeah. That one was on the scanner though, Darren. Like that one's on the police scanner. And that's why.
Fine. I never heard the scanner, so I'm not dealing with that because I have nothing to do with that.
Okay. Well, can you let Charmaine or Kent ask you a question? And I want to say once again, okay, you know that we appreciate this. And for those people that don't appreciate it, well, it's too bad for you guys. Because to me, I love knowledge, and power is knowledge. And the more we have insight into that day, the more you can make sense of it. And it's not like it's a right. Okay, it's not our right to have this knowledge, but definitely does family talking bring awareness to the case and keep it up there? Like being in YouTube for like 5 years and whatever, you know what works and what keeps a case going. I know that it's not like, like it's not old school stuff for sure, because unfortunately you've been attacked by people, threats and stuff like that. And again, I
lost a place to live. I'm homeless right now, living in my truck. If it wasn't for my friend.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful for your friend.
I don't know if I can fix that stuff or not, to tell you the truth.
Well, and
I'll tell you. All right, here's going to be my last statement for now. You can get Daniel in here however you want, but here's going to be my last statement for now. Malaya made a couple really stupid mistakes is what she's really guilty of, but it was the consequences of those mistakes that made it into such a big deal to start with. When she panicked and told Janie that the kids were in the woods, that triggered a search. She didn't know what that was going to trigger,
right?
But that triggered it. And then the second big mistake she made was saying abduction. That triggered a criminal investigation. And then it was, if she'd have just, the one thing about this, it is all on Malaya, because why wouldn't she open her goddamn mouth and stop this before it got started? Mm-hmm. I mean, it would have got started for a couple of days, but do you know why this, and now here's where I'm going to get dirty. I'll probably get kicked off here. Do you know why this goddamn thing is lasting 2 months? Right now, it's because a bunch of goddamn conceited, arrogant arseholes who are Mounties never did their jobs properly. I don't think they have the brains to do their jobs properly. And I'll tell you something. I know a lot more about that than I can even say, because if I say what I know about that, it's going to bugger up Janie and Daniel. So by me not expressing, not giving any receipts on this vicious attitude of mine toward the Mounties, I got that to say that I'm unless Daniel or Janie wants to say they know what I'm talking about. If they want to talk about that, that's fine and dandy. They can say what they want. And now I'm going to finish. I'm done. But I'll tell you one thing about the goddamn Mounties. Everybody on there. Here's the real dirty date. Remember Port-a-Peak? And you tell me that the goddamn Mounties are the best law enforcement in the world? My arse. Good night.
No, wait. That's not fair. Charmaine, you and Ken didn't get to ask a question.
I didn't have any questions, but that is priceless East Coast right there. That is beautiful.
Yeah,
that ending.
Oh, well, okay. So you guys, again, thank you guys for being here tonight. again, if you guys don't know who Darren is, so Malaya, her grandmother is Patty. Okay, so Darren is the cousin to Patty, which makes it to Malaya, first cousin twice removed. Now, in saying that, he knows obviously the Martell side of the family, as well as the Malaya, the Brooke side of the family there. Okay, so now in saying that, I just have to say this again. Anytime a family member gives, whether you want to believe it or not, that is absolutely your choice. But honestly, and I say this with no arrogance to it, but be grateful, be thankful. If you're following this case because you want to know what happened to Jack and Lilly, when family members talk, right? Listen. Simple as that. Listen and use your brains that God gave you to take that information and then, come up with an informed decision. That's the bottom line of it. I myself, I love it. Whether it's boots on the ground or family talking, you need, you don't have to listen, but then what's the point? So what are you here for? If you don't want to, help in any sort of way besides, put somebody down as they're talking and think that you are owed information. We're not owed anything at all. So I'm very grateful for any time a family member speaking myself, and it gives you more insight into the day, right? So just remember that when you're some people that are attacking, like as if you have a right to know the exact timeline at every second and blah, 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 blah. And, all that stuff and what year they were born and how they were born and who their mothers and fathers are and who this, they do have those legacy things that you can go build out there. But other than that, thank you, Darren, for even talking. Simple as that. Bless on your situation, and I'm so sorry that people are putting threats to your family and your situation. But you know what? I said to Darren, why do you not just take it easy for a bit, stay quiet? And he said, Sonny, because I'm going to see this through. And I can't blame him. I'm the same type of personality, right? When you're in for the fight, you're in for the long haul. And sometimes, things will come at you, like obviously it's happening here and he's kind of like, nope, doesn't matter. I'm here to fight for Jack and Lilly to find answers. So I can respect that and commend that. Go ahead, Kent and Charmaine. I've talked enough and all that. So go ahead and say what you guys need to on this one.
Obviously it's good that Darren called in again. I thought that relationship was severed, but I mean, that's good because the RCMP the other day said that, we give regular updates, but do they? We don't really get a whole lot from them. So this is all information that we can discuss instead of, like I keep saying, shooting blanks, right? And about the information that he provided, it's good to know that his source is Janie, somebody that was right there. And you know what? Beyond that, I'm gonna pass my mic over to Kent.
Kent. What's Kent got to say?
Is he mute? Did you mute him?
Oh, shit, Kent, you're probably... Kent, I unmuted you.
I'm telling you, I'm on mute.
I don't know who did that.
Yeah. I just want to say to everybody, like, some people asked me, they said, do I know Darren? And I know of him, but I basically met him in person the way that you guys all have last week on the live streams here. And then Saturday morning, he called me and like 7:45 Saturday morning, and he said, Ken, he said, my girlfriend that I live with knows you, knows that says I can trust you. And he said, do you mind if we get together and talk? And I said, well, I got no wheels right now, so you'll have to come to me. And he came to my house Saturday morning, and we had a chat back and forth. Some things I agreed with him. Other things I said, well, I just don't see how that happened. And then other things, it fell right into place. If you really listen to him objectively and the information that he's given us, I haven't heard anybody else tell us any other information that would make it wrong. If we get a story or the proof after the fact from the RCMP and it's wrong, well, then we can say he bullshitted us.
Absolutely.
But right now,
I'm willing to gamble.
look at all the information that even tonight, we got more information tonight than we had Thursday and Friday last week.
Thanks,
Is it 100% true? I can't tell you. Do I believe it's 100% true? No, I'm thinking probably 80. I know there's some things that he probably is getting mixed up and trying to give the details as he was tonight, because if you don't just allow him to talk and tell us, his mind just is like a squirrel hamster wheel and it's turning in his head and he's trying to remember the stuff.
And there's
like,
a lot.
It's not as if he's got this all written down, folks, and reading from a script. He's trying to tell you from memory. So, like I say, we chatted for a couple hours on Saturday morning here at my house. And since then, we probably had a half a dozen phone conversations. So, like, I just think that we all have to be kind, take the information that we're getting from whoever it is. Belinda, thank you very much.
Well,
I hope you don't get upset when Darren still says that he believes that the kids are alive and whatnot. But we're thirsty for information. That's all I can say.
Well, Ken, let me say, I want to say this quickly. What I do love about this is that this started off with Belinda speaking to me. I requested a friendship, and then she said she'd watch the channel, and then she accepted my friend request. And she told me, again, she said it was because she felt like I was the right person to talk to, and I still hope to this day she still feels that way. Me and her talk almost every single day, even if it's just for a few texts or whatever, because obviously I'm working, she's got she's busy and stuff like that too. And she's made this all the time about Jacqueline. But what I love about this part is that, so Charmaine is talking with Daniel, right? I'm talking with Belinda. And then I know Logan Singh came out, but then we come across you from Pictou County. Now you've become a good friend of ours. And then on top of that, Darren's talking to Belinda, along that. And then Janie's talking to Darren and saying, hey, yeah, it's no problem. You can give out this information and stuff like that. So I love the fact that something that started off with me talking with Belinda is kind of like, I'll say it loosely, of course, but it's like a little family that's all kind of working together to, just to try to bring answers.
Yeah, and you take your little conversation that we started out with Belinda. Then we had a Daniel making comments on some other channels, so we were getting information from him. Then we had Logan come out.
Ooh.
And it just each time now we're getting that because they want to find these kids, people, and find out what has happened to them, and there's more and more every day speaking out. Like tonight, we heard a lot of the stuff that Daniel says that he's got the confirmation from was Janie. And everybody was saying for the last 3 weeks, well, how come Daniel's mother's not saying anything? And the other thing is, the only thing that I would have asked Daniel, but I don't really, or not Daniel, but Darren. But I don't really have to ask it because I know it in myself that it probably did happen, is because everybody would say, oh, well, if Cindy's got this timeline of it, or I keep mixing up the names. If Janie has this timeline of everything, well, why didn't she give it to the RCMP or did they even take her phone? And I would say to that, don't be so naive. would have taken her phone and they would have seen anything that was on it. It's the RCMP is still building their case so that they can have all the details. And that's the thing that I find a big difference about the Canadian police and RCMP compared to American is the American system allows for the or for the police or the FBI or whoever is doing the reporting to come out every day and give us another detail. Does everybody like that system in the States? I would say there's probably some people that don't, because all you hear about some of these cases that have happened in the past is corruption within the FBI and everyone else. So the RCMP and Canadian police, it's a lot more private and you don't get the details, because even when these kids are found, if they're alive or if they have joined God, we will not know the full story and the full details of everything until it goes to court, and you will be lucky if you know the details after it goes through the court system, because there's no reporters in the courtroom. Like, all we get is statements and recoveries from the reporters and maybe some still photos or drawings. So right now, our thirst for information is everybody's quest to find out what happened to Jack and Lily and bring them home.
So again, Darren, if you really want to do right by Lily and Jack, then please clear up. Who was lying, you or Janie? That statement was not a little mix-up like Janie says. Thanks for watching, everyone, and welcome to all the new subscribers, and I will see you all soon in the channel's next video. Stay safe.